Welcome back. In this unit, we're going to have some fun. We've got a couple of really fun exercises for you to do, and it's all going to test your observation skills. And what does it mean to observe something? We already talked about that we can look at things, and we do it all the time, but what does it truly mean to observe something? Observing requires that you look at detail. You think about what you're looking at, and then you come to an evaluation. Much of what we observe through our own perceptions. What we see has a lot to do with how we perceive the world. And as I said, we have a couple of really good exercises to kind of emphasize these points. The first one I want to take a look at is the fruits and vegetables. Now you say, what does fruits and vegetables have to do with critical thinking? Well, it gives you the opportunity to practice your observation skills. So on page 21, there's a full description of this exercise. Now I've written it on the board here just to kind of get you started. We're talking fruits and vegetables. On the left side of your graph, make a graph like this, just a T going across like that. On the left side of the graph, you're going to talk about the physical attributes or aspects of fruits and vegetables, or which one that you choose. And then here, on the right side, you're going to talk about the inner process details. And you're thinking, what does inner process details mean? Well, that means more of how you perceive this fruit or vegetable. Let me just give you a brief example. Say, for example, I chose a banana. On the physical side, I would write, it's yellow, it's maybe 7 inches long, and it's edible, right? Physical. Inner process details, now I have to go a little bit deeper. A banana tastes sweet. A banana is good for my health. A banana is good for the environment, the growing of bananas. So you see the difference? One is physical, what you can see and touch and feel. The other is what you think about, how you perceive this fruit or vegetable. Let me go over the directions a little bit and give you time to think about your fruits and vegetable and observing and the observation skills you'll need. Select one. It could be any kind of fruit, tomato, apple, anything that you'd like. Select one. Set it up like this, as the book describes. Begin by looking at the object. Just look at it in your hands. Feel it. Touch it. Get to know it. Sounds funny to talk about a fruit and vegetable as your best friend, but go with me here. Okay. As you begin the exploration process, think about some of the things that this fruit or vegetable may remind you of. Is it something that you ate when you were a child? Is it something that you hated when you were a child? Is it something you desired when you were a child? Those kinds of thoughts should be going through your mind when we're talking about the inner process details. Okay? Don't forget, the physical column will be very easy, but this is going to be a little bit tough. So recognize the point that you get just a little bit frustrated with the list on this side. Because you think, well, what else can I say about a banana? This is where it really takes your perceptions and your observation skills. They really, this is going to take practice. But stay with it. Don't get frustrated. Just keep thinking, keep turning it around in your mind, and you'll come up with some details. Your final description may take 2 forms. After you've gone through this exercise, you list as many as you can, of course. Your final exercise will take 2 forms. A report that describes the object that you've chosen, describes it in detail. And secondly, a narrative, a story about your fruit or vegetable. And that's where it comes back to what this fruit or vegetable kind of represents in your own life or in your own mind. Take a deep breath before you start. Like I said, handle your object as much as you can and get that sense from it and your perceptions going, and then begin. Okay, we're going to check back on this. This will be part of a written assignment that you'll need to post. Okay? Next. Look at this object. This is called optical illusion. And when we're talking about optical illusions, we're talking about something that tricks our eye. So take a look at this. Look at it for 60 seconds. Just look at it, observe it, details. What do you see when you're looking at this? Write it down. I'm not going to tell you quite yet what it is. Just keep looking at it. optical illusions. Why do they exist? Because they help us to kind of break down our preconceived notions of what something should be and look a little deeper. And that's all about critical thinking and observation. Okay, now, lastly, our last exercise for this unit is on page 39 of your book. It is survival as a result of observing. Now, this is where you get a chance to really get your writing skills in use this time. What you're going to do is you're going to write a narrative essay. And when I say narrative, it's basically you're telling a story. And a lot of people get a little nervous when they have to write, but just think of it as telling a story. Just think of it as when we were little kids, how we used to tell each other stories. Just think of it in those terms, except you're writing it down. Longhand if you wish. If it's easier for you to do it longhand, go ahead and do it longhand. But if it's easier for you to be at the word processor typing it, do that as well. But just type it. No edit. You don't get to edit. Okay, so describe experience in which safety, your welfare, comfort, or survival depended on your observation skills. Think about it. Think about a situation in your life where your safety, your welfare, your very life depended on your observation skills. Think about maybe in camping or in sports or maybe something, your family perhaps was in some kind of an accident or something like that, and your observation skills saved the day, or saved survival, or encouraged survival, I should say. Remember that the theme of this narrative, and this narrative should be no more than a page. If you're typing, it should be one page double-spaced. If you're writing it by hand, just one page longhand. It should be no more than one page, and you should keep in mind the theme of observation. How did your observation skills save the day? Okay, so kind of focus in on that. It's easy to kind of get sidetracked a little bit describing the situation. But what you want to really focus on is how your observation skills helped you to survive. Now, on page 40, there's an indication of how this paper will be graded, but I'm not particularly going to use this rubric to grade. We'll be using another rubric, but just so you get a sense of kind of the way that the story should go. One page, as I said before, the story should have specifics. Every good story has specifics, details, examples. Remember, critical thinking, observation. The story should flow. It should go from the beginning, the middle, to the end. Okay? The language should be accurate. And this is my pet peeve. You'll find that out in this 5 weeks. Make sure everything is spelled correctly. Okay? Those of you that are typing, spell check. No problem. If you have a question about a word, pick up a dictionary. Okay? Everything should be spelled correctly. Your grammar should be perfect. The use of your observation skills. You should be using words, action words actually. Touch, saw, held, ran. Action words, okay, in this situation. And finally, again, sentence structure, punctuation, and spelling, very important. Make sure, if you're not a good speller like I'm not, I always use the dictionary. And if I'm typing, I always go to the Word program, the program in Word that helps you. Okay, so that's very important as well. So let's get started with that. Start with your narrative and be sure to post it. I'll see you next time.